So for my birthday, I got the new Witcher book, Crossroads of Ravens, and what a delightful treat. We went on a vacation for my birthday, and I got the book, and I read through it, and it was so fun. It was great. So let's go through it, little bit by little bit. First question: was it worth it? Should you give it a try? Should you read it? I would say yes, absolutely yes. It is a delightful edition. It doesn't move the story forward any at all because the main series kind of already did that. But it gave us a really good, solid Witcher story. It is every bit as good as The Last Wish. So if you didn't really like the main series, but you liked The Last Wish, you'd like this. If you did like the main series, you'd still like this. I mean, I thought it was great for really everybody. Very well written. In fact, I would say that this is probably the best written of the Witcher books. I don't want to say it's the best of them because there's some really good Witcher books, but this one was really well written. You can definitely see how Sapkowski has grown as an author. It very much is shown, and just the ability for him to write so well, and the way that he writes Geralt in such a way that you can tell his youth from the way it's written, which is phenomenal. You can tell some of the things that he isn't quite the mature Witcher that he is in the rest of the series, and I really enjoyed that a lot. As far as where you should read this in the series, before The Last Wish was pretty much the entry point. People were going from either the show to The Last Wish, or they were going from the video game to The Last Wish. That's fine. You can start with The Last Wish. You can also start with the main series. That's fine too. The Crossroads of Raven is a great point for you as an entry point, but it's also good for anybody familiar with the series. You could read it at the beginning or at the end, and you'll still enjoy it. Obviously, when you start it, you're going to know that Geralt lives, but there's nothing in this book that's written in such a way where it's like, oh, he's he's making fun of the long-term fans. No, not at all. Not at all. If you're a long-term fan and you're reading this, you're still going to find it enjoyable. You're still going to find moments of tension, and there are still times when you're going to think, is so-and-so going to die? Which it's really the mark of a good character that you can write a prequel after the main series and still keep people entertained, on edge, unsure of how it's going to end, and that kind of really, really well done work. Just to give you a summary of the book itself, it is about a young Geralt and a new mentor that he gets. I thought it was going to be about Vesemir or whatnot. It was not, and I thought it worked great. It doesn't waste time with dangers that are going to go nowhere and are hollow. Like, oh no, is Geralt going to die in this scene? But at the same time, it left you, wanting to keep turning the pages. I mean, I think I read it in 2 days, maybe 3 days. I don't know. I've written down on Goodreads, I'm sure, but 2 or 3 days. I just kind of blew through it. I really enjoyed it. It does a really good job of introducing things for the later series and explaining kind of some backstory with different situations and tying into the main series. It does a great job with all that stuff. And it really sets up for The Last Wish, too. So, I mean, it really does a good job with everything that it sets out to do. Like I say, it was written phenomenally, better than any of the other Witcher books. The writing is he just does a really good job writing. I have zero complaints about the writing style. Even with the way that Geralt says things that kids would say, and his mentor's like, yeah, you're going to need to stop that. Oftentimes when an author that wrote a series that kind of made it big returns back to the world years later, oftentimes what happens is the book that they write feels unnecessary, it feels long, it feels drawn out, it feels kind of preachy maybe. Crossroads of Ravens managed to avoid all of that. It doesn't feel long. It's only a 300 something page book. I mean, it I don't know how long it is, but it goes by really fast. It's not drawn out. I mean, the point that he wants to make, he gets to it, moves on. It didn't feel unnecessary. It felt like a very welcome addition. And I think that for new fans, they're going to have a great time getting into this. My only problem here is that the writing style is so different from the original books that I'm concerned that someone might read it first, really enjoy it, and then go to the rest of the books and be somewhat disappointed. That's my only concern. But that's not a concern that I have for me because I didn't start with this book. So maybe in that point, maybe you shouldn't start with this book. I don't know. It also didn't feel preachy. It really felt very dynamic. I mean, you had some people that were just like hell-bent against religion and against religious people, and you have some people who were very genuinely religious, and for whatever that means, whatever religion means in the world of Witcher. But when you look at a lot of these authors that are just like trying to play off past successes, their books oftentimes just feel unnecessary. The Twilight series, they came out with a new one, I forget what it's called, maybe Midnight Sun or something, and it just kind of felt like, why? And it wasn't a very good book. And then there was, The Hunger Games, which when it came out, I was like, oh, why is that necessary? And then after I read it, I was like, okay, I can see why that was necessary. So maybe not that one, but you get what I'm saying about how sometimes authors just kind of try to play off past successes instead of going off and doing their own thing. I mean, take, for instance, how Frank Herbert's son, Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson, how they've really milked the tar out of Dune. I mean, it should have ended a long time ago. Half those books are unnecessary. And it just keeps going on, and it's just kind of like, okay, let's have an original thought now. Let's stop rehashing the same things, and just, anyways. This book felt very short, felt tight, lots of fun to be had here. Was it necessary? I mean, we've already said, was it worth it, but was it necessary? It wasn't necessary for the main series. The main series is perfectly fine without this book. But it was necessary for the sake of world building and for giving more depth to Geralt as a person. So that was great. I do have to say, Yennefer was not in this book, as far as I know, at all. There was one part where I thought there was a suggestion to her, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't. And then there was, obviously, Ciri has not even been born at this point yet. It really is just focused on Geralt, the bard. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now. Anyways, the bard is not in it either, or if he was, I just didn't catch the reference. As far as content, what does this book have? Well, like all Witcher books, it's pretty graphic. It has some graphic language in it. It has some sexual and suggestive content. It doesn't get real descriptive in sexual things. I should say that differently. It does get descriptive in sexual things, but it doesn't ever have like a detailed sex scene, okay? So it's not like 50 Shades of Grey, but at the same time it does have sexual content, suggestive content, that kind of stuff. As far as how does it treat religion, it treats religion as mostly negative. Some of it is positive, but mostly negative. Religion is seen as kind of unnecessary and kind of irrelevant. Violence, it does have violence. I've read books with worse violence, but I've also read books with less violence. So I hope that kind of helps you out. Who would I suggest this book for? I would suggest this book for fantasy lovers, anyone who liked The Witcher games, comic books, or books. Even I'd suggest it for somebody who liked The Witcher show. I think it does a really good job. There's no one that I would really say that this book isn't for, unless you're not into fantasy and you're not into grimdark and you're not into those kinds of heavier fantasy books. So, but hey, if you've read this, tell me below. If you're holding off, why are you waiting? Is there something that you're concerned about? I'd love to hear what your thoughts were.